everyone, welcome back to the Tiger Den. I hope you guys are doing well. I started a little bit late today. I'm just having a little bit of like a hesitation moment, just kind of not feeling great, but I want to stream anyway, mostly because I want to get some painting done. We are working on the Rappig painting. Yes, it's upside down again. That's because I'm going to be working on the waterfalls and the green up here in this corner, and I don't want to reach across the canvas and be like, and then block everything you guys can't see. So I have my brushes ready for the waterfall. We're going to start with that. As you can see, I have a lot of blues and greens over here. I also have some acrylic bases that I'm going to be using for the pinkest pink that we're going to be putting on the spots. We're not going to put it on today. But if I get to the pinkest pink before I play with it, then I will do it straight on here. Otherwise, I'm hoping to get like a separate canvas page and just do a bunch of pinkest pink on it and in the different mediums that I have, and just kind of see how it looks, play with it a little bit, that type of stuff, before I go straight to using it on my canvas. That way I can also get a sense of what pinkest pink really means and the color with it. As for the first, congratulations, Sheriffs, on your first. I know you don't get it often because Matt's usually on top of that, so congrats on beating Matt today. So first things first, I need to paint the waterfalls with my lightest blue. I don't have a lot of blues. I have 2 blues. So we're going to be doing a little mixing today, but this is sky blue. It looks like that's most of what's there. I could use a little bit of white to get into a few places in the waterfall, but it looks like it's mostly sky blue. The dark blue I'm going to do as like a shadow, and then I'm going to do some white over top for the strokes of color. And yes, my palette is getting kind of gross. I'm doing the best I can. It's hard to what's the word? It's hard to clean it with the sinks I have. We finally got a nice sink that we just put in yesterday, maybe Monday. I think it might have been Monday. So that way I can start cleaning my palettes and stuff a little nicer, and hopefully I'll be able to make some paint on stream, which I know you guys are very interested in learning about. Maybe I'll just make that off stream and do it as a YouTube video record. So that way you guys can watch it whenever you need to, instead of just watch it live and then not know the steps when you go to do it, that type of stuff. So yeah, I think I'll make that a YouTube video. I'll let you guys know when that goes live, but I will record the process, and then edit from there and see how well you guys like it. Because I know there are some tutorial stuff that I need to do with my art, so that way you guys can follow it at any time, just to give it a little bit more of a interest or more people to view for different things. Well, I know a lot of my stuff right now on YouTube is basically a 8-second short, a 3-minute to like watch time lapse, that's the word I'm looking for, time lapse sketch, or it's art live stream. So I need to get some more variation on my YouTube channel anyway. So I will do that. I will record the paint making and post it up on YouTube and just let you guys know when it's live. It might be about a month before it goes live, because I do have some other videos in queue right now to release every Monday. So every Monday on my YouTube channel, which is Tiger Rosie Studios, I will be releasing a time lapse of art. And who knows, maybe I'll do the tutorial one as like a random weekday one between now and when the next time lapse comes out, or whenever I edit it, that is. I have another video to upload to Instagram today, because you can't schedule posts for Instagram unless you're a business account. So I have to manually post that. Maybe I'll wait and let it wait till the other one posts on my Facebook and then post it then. Okay, so we're just getting a nice base to the waterfall on here. Trying to cover up some of that brown because the mountain kind of came into where my waterfall would be. I think we got that pretty covered here. Do up and down strokes, so vertical strokes for the waterfall, because waterfalls go down, and that would make more sense with the paintbrush. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and shadow this one before moving on to the one on top, because I want to keep them separate. Where did I just put it? It's right here. Because I want to keep them separate and individualized, so that way we can have 2 different waterfalls and not have a bunch of like randomness going on. So I am going to shadow this one just a touch. The white on the top looks like the fuzz or the spray. That's way too much dark blue. Looks like the spray from going down, and that kind of helps separate it. I need not that much dark blue, so we're just going to scoop some of this back in. Just need a little bit. Okay, that should be good. Okay, and then I don't need to necessarily wash my brush because I'm about to go in with that dark blue. So the dark blue is mostly just for shadowing on here, so we'll have a little bit at the bottom. We're just kind of getting this bottom bit a little darker down here. And yes, the blues will start to mix a little bit, causing a separate blue. Then we're just going to add some lines here. As the blue runs out on my brush, it'll start mixing with that lighter blue underneath. And I'm not going to add too many lines because we're mostly going to have white lines coming down this. A little bit right here. And then that's a big white spot right there. I'm just kind of mixing and adding here as I can. And then for now, I am going to put the dark blue on the very top, but it will get covered over with white once we go to separate with the foam, which will be a very drastic difference. So this is just to separate them for now. And then I have like a little dot right here. Doesn't go all the way down, just a little bit. I think that's good for the dark blue. Again, a lot of this is going to be in white, so it's going to cause a little bit more of a contrast difference with the waves and things like that. I may do a white with a touch of sky blue just to kind of make it more cohesive. So now we're going to go up here and do this one. Now with this one, I know you may notice there's a little bit of a box up here. That again is the spray area. I don't know why I had to separate it out. I just did. I didn't really have to separate it. I guess maybe because when I originally sketched it, I thought it was an entirely separate area. I didn't recognize that was part of the waterfall. And I was going based off my first sketch instead of the current one. And we are picking up some of that dark blue here, so we need to carefully remove it. You don't want that dark blue in the rest of the water. Now my acrylic paint seems to be running out pretty quickly, which is fine. I just need to be careful and make sure I get everything covered up that needs to be covered. Blend that out so it doesn't look so thick right there. Now I am looking forward to playing with the mediums of the acrylic just because of the fact that it allows me to have more control over the acrylic body. So I could technically mix this acrylic paint that I have right now into it and then just change the pigment a bit and how it flows and how it goes through. I could make it more glossy. I could, reduce it with some water, make it more matte or even iridescent, which would be fun. But right now I don't want to add any iridescent or sparkle to this painting. I may add it a little bit of white on the waterfalls and then maybe some white on the flowers. So the flowers, the waterfall, and then the lamppost I think are going to be the three areas of iridescence on this painting. We're just slowly covering this with the correct color. Now water does technically have a slight green to it, but in this case, in this picture, the waterfall is very blue. That's just due to people's misconception of what water actually has in coloration with it. Now we're doing our up and down strokes for the water flow. But that's a misconception. Water does have a bit of green to it. It's just reflecting the sky, and that's why it looks blue instead of green. Getting those waterfall strokes in there. Kind of thickening up where it's getting very low on this. Okay, that seems to be a lot better. Right, and now to do the dark blue in this area. it looks like it's just like one on each side, and then 1 or 2 in the middle, and the one on the far side, this side, is kind of like a triangle. So we're gonna just come down here. We're gonna fully cover that, and then it has like a little triangle that comes out. As you can see, I did not need a lot of blue. Even with putting some of that blue back, I still ended up with a lot of extra blue. Needed very little. That blue all the way down to the bottom there. And then this side kind of has like a diagonal here. I don't know if I can match it exactly, because I think I already screwed it up. That. And this goes all the way down. Don't worry, once again, when we add that white, it's going to cause a much more stark difference. Now, eventually, I would like to be able to get my fan brush to work for waterfall lines. But as of right now, we're going to try it. But as of right now, it's not the greatest way to do waterfall, because it's still soft and doesn't have very stiff bristles. So it doesn't give me that fanning look that I'd like. Okay, there's that. Brush this up. Brush this out. Okay. Then it has like 1, maybe 2. I think it has one like right here for the dark blue. Now the goal with the white is to keep as much of the light blue as possible, because yes, it has the white is pretty prominent, but I want it to also show off that nice blue, sky blue underneath. That goes up, and down, there. Okay, there's that. That looks a little better. Then up here is just a bunch of water and fizz. I think I'm gonna, no, I do see the branches on top. It looks like I actually have a little bit of sky up here in this area, and then some branches coming in. So I think I'm gonna paint this up here with the sky blue as well, and we'll work on actually it's slightly gray. So let's add a dot of gray, and we're gonna mix that sky blue. Oh my lord, my gray is everywhere. Yeah, okay. Just a dot of gray. Maybe 2 dots. Let's go with 2 dots. And then we're going to mix in some of that blue. The sky blue, of course. That did barely anything. Have too much gray in comparison to the light blue. Well, I don't need any more light blue, so that is still too much. Too much gray. Should have gone the other direction. Added gray to the light blue. So now I'm going to end up with a lot of sky color. There. There we go. That's a little better. So the light blue is slightly grayed out. I'm guessing it's maybe like a rainy day, or it might be because it's so far away. Clean out my brush so I don't get any of the straight sky blue and straight gray. Then we're just going to come in here and dip. And we're just going to paint the sky in here. Yeah, that's a pretty good color. It does look a bit more gray than I would like, but that's okay. It is definitely different than the waterfall, and that was the key. It's getting it in a different color than the waterfall itself. And then there is a tree coming off on this side, but I'm going to paint all of this sky gray and then do the tree on its own. Now I am going to, on my paper towel, paint with the fan brush a little bit to see if I can get those nice lines that I would like. If I can't get them on my scrap towel, then there's no way I'll be able to get them on this canvas. Okay, there we go. That's looking good. Now I do need to let the blue dry a little bit before I go after it with white, otherwise that white's just going to blend and mix and it's going to look kind of muddy, which we do not want. Now I can, with this gray, actually go over where this top part is, and that will mix with it. I can add the white to it, so I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to paint the gray here, and it's going to mix with that white to cause a, almost like a see-through effect where the splatters come in. And yes, I will be splattering the white a little bit with the waterfalls. They're far enough away that you're not going to see a lot of splatter, but enough that it should actually create a nice effect of the water movement. So the water does have movement in this. Try and get this tree trunk as clean as I can. Kind of brush this all the way because it's getting some streakiness here and there. Which is mainly due to the brush. Acrylic does show a lot of brush strokes. Get that up there. There we go. So with these, especially acrylic, you definitely want to have smooth, confident brush strokes, which sometimes does mean taking and slowing down your brush stroke. That way it's a nice clean line. Alright, I think the acrylic is dry enough down there on that first waterfall. I don't know yet. Probably should actually get some scrap paper. I have some scrap watercolor paper I can use to test the white. It's not the best to test acrylic on because it is watercolor paper, but who cares? White. Don't need a lot of it. Even though I did get a lot. Maybe I'll be able to do those flowers today and kind of create that nice flow here. So we're gonna scooch that water in. We're gonna, don't need the whole fan brush, I guess. Just kind of dry off some of the paint. We mostly just want it to be a dry brush, so we don't want too much paint on it. So we're just gonna kind of, yeah, like that. It's definitely a lot thicker than I would like, but I think I can work with it. I know it's hard to see on the white paper. I promise you it did go. So we're just gonna dip, kind of brush it off a little bit. Again, we don't want too much. We want this to be a dry brush technique. So we're gonna dry it off and then just kind of pull it down from up here. That was a little too much lost, so let's go ahead and dip it. Yeah, there we go. That it's kind of losing some of it onto the brown. Try and keep this up here. This is a very interesting technique to do waterfalls with because of the fact it is a little different, but it creates more of a realistic waterfall effect. I'm going to go in with that dark blue and put just a few lines in there because of the fact that it's it kind of lost some of that dark blue. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my brush. I'm going to dry some of it off, and then we're going to just kind of stroke it in. We're just going to pull it back in with its darker color. And that should give us a nice little contrast there. And now I can do the white at the top. We're just going to kind of blob this on. And eventually, here, I will do the splatters. I want to get some more white on this than blue. And I guess the white going off on the side isn't too bad a thing, because it is giving a nice like splatter from the water on that brown, so I can live with that. Okay, that gets a little bit more of that white. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the top one now. So we're going to start with the splatter up here. There's a little bit over here going up. And I do need to go in, like I said, with those dots, create a little bit of a splatter effect. Then now that this is nice and good, we can just kind of drag down that white into the abyss here. And again, I am going to have to go back in with that dark blue because I lost it a little bit. We're going to clean that off, and then I can technically do this with the white and the blue at the same time, but I'm not going to. Oop, I'm losing that blue. I lost my sky blue in this, so I gotta add some sky blue on this top one, which means pouring a little bit more sky blue. Just a little bits at a time. We're gonna come in and we're gonna take that and we're just gonna kind of mix that in there. And it's starting to blend a little bit more than I would like, and I think that has to do with the fact that it wasn't fully dry. Back that sky blue. Then we'll have to go back in with that white. Drag these all down this way. Just a little bit over here. Little bits at a time to kind of bring that dark blue back. And now finally the white. It's a lot of back and forth with trying to get these techniques down, especially when you don't do them a lot. Blue. Okay, I think that is looking good. Okay, now I gotta apparently do the splatter again because my brushes went a little too high up. So I should have saved the splatter for last. My bad. We're just gonna whiten this back up here. There was a little bit of gray up here that I can take the gray and mix in. So there's a little bit of shadowing. So I'm going to take that gray, that bluish gray that I mixed. I'm just going to put a little bit like right here. Just kind of cut into it. And then we're going to take that white back. I'm going to bring it a little bit more over here. Make this a little bit of a sharper point. There, that looks good. At least I think it looks good. I hope it's enough, because this is not the most easy way of doing this. And now we're going to go in with those splatters I told you guys about. So we're going to get rid of the fan brush, because you do not want to splatter with a fan brush, trust me. Now I could do the manual way of individually putting the dots, and then, you know, it makes it feel a little bit more controlled. But I want it to do a little different. So I'm going to wet my brush with white on it. And then we are going to take a second brush and we are just going to splatter paint on here. Not wet enough here, so we're going to Wet it a little bit more, and then put some splatters down here. Get some more white. Dip it. Lots of dipping. And just kind of splatter it down here. Oops, I don't want water all the way up there. Hang on. There's no water there. No water over there. Okay. So that just gives it a little bit more of a kind of splatter feel. Then I'm going to go in with these ones way up here, and I'm going to just kind of blend them out. We don't need splatter in those locations. Then I see there's one right there. Oh, goodness. Okay. Goodness me, oh my. Okay, that's the best I can do for that. So that's it for the waterfalls. They're not the best looking. They don't look like they came from the game for sure, but we can try. I'm gonna go ahead and make these thicker white ones real quick with this thin brush, because they do have a couple really thick ones going on. And this one up here has a nice thick white line right here. And it had a nice thick white line right here. Apparently it's been an hour since I started my tens unit because it just turned off. And it had a nice white thick line right over here. A little bit right here. Okay. That should get the nice white that I am seeing on the actual reference photo. Because I did go and get the actual reference photo. So I can maybe be a little bit more accurate with this. Is there a white here? Kind of. There's a white like right here. Right here. Okay. So that's it for that that waterfall section. And I got some white in the grass, or in the trees, not the grass. I need to go ahead and turn on my tens unit again because my back is killing me. And this is how I avoid back pain. And as you all know, I do not sit in this chair properly. So my back starts hurting. I am over 30, so it also does not help because I am old as fuck. Okay, I'm not that old, but you get what I mean. I'm drinking my coffee, which is now empty. So all I got is water to drink. Now the grass parts and the greenery is going to be a little bit harder to do. Mostly because of the fact it actually shows a bunch of like individual lines for the grass. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but we're going to try. I'm going to start with that side of the green instead of up here in the trees to give this waterfall some time to dry before I attack it with a bunch of green. Now the base color on the grass appears to be kind of like a, not quite sap green. It's a little bit more vibrant than sap, but it's a lot darker. So we're going to take some sap green, and because I'm doing a big area, I'm going to use one of these bigger pans to mix it, because I do need a lot of it. So we're going to take our sap green, at least I think this is sap green, and lush foliage, close enough. I'm going to take a little bit of this mint green to make it a little bit more vibrant. Oh, if I can shake it first so I can actually get paint out of it. Now the greens on the mountains also have the same vibrant green. So I will be doing the vibrant green up here on the mountains as well, and just kind of following those along. Okay, so a little bit more vibrancy. And then I need my dark green, which is Kelly green, to darken it just a touch. Not a lot, just a touch. So we're going to add a little bit of Kelly green here. Maybe about that much. And let's see what green we get out from this. That is almost perfect. If I can get it to actually mix all of it and not just parts of it. That is an almost perfect coloration. I know I just did kind of like a green in my sketchbook reference photo, but that I like looking at the original reference photo because it gives me a little bit closer to what the greens and things are supposed to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and start up here on the mountains. And we're just going to do like light little green specks along the tops. And this does cover up the shadowing that I did a little bit, but that's okay because there is supposed to be less shadow and more green separating the mountains. Okay, so that had some green down here. Put over here to get some more of that green. All right, and then I had a little bit right here. I'm just kind of, I know this doesn't follow a lot of my lines here, I get that, but I'm just trying to get that green going. And this one had a little bit up here. So just kind of went across on this, just above the archway. Oops, don't die on me. Then had a, well, I didn't put the brown low enough on how do I turn this off? Use it to display, that's fine. Okay. So I didn't put the brown enough under the archway to really justify how it looks. So we're just going to kind of also play with it a little bit. This isn't a one-to-one replica. I probably could have grid it and then one-to-one replicate it. This is more of like an artist take, which I guess kind of makes it a little bit more mine than, you know, where it came from. And there's a little bit of green down here. A slightly darker green, but it's okay. We can start with a light base. Is there any green on the upper mountain? I don't see any, but I do see some going up in this way. I don't know if I want to do that. I think I am going to. So we're just going to take a little bit of green here. Just bring it all the way down to about there. And that'll be the other side of the mountain. I know, again, I didn't look at the reference photo. That was my bad when I sketched and painted this brown. So it's not perfectly aligned. I want the top of this to be a nice straight line. And then pat it down. Just going to pat it down over here. Make this a little bit more of a straight line. Not going to be perfectly straight, but, you know, get it a little closer. Then does this green. This mountain did not have any green. That mountain didn't have any green. This one had a little bit of green. Just a little bit. Just to kind of pat it on here. And then that's all green, and all that's green. But that is for later because that's a much darker green and is more of the tree shadow. So now we're going to go in and we're going to start painting the base on the lawn or the grass. And I will go through, and I'm not going to put lines of grass everywhere. I'm not going to be that detailed, but I will put areas to kind of make it suggest the grass is all there and lined up. So I will be doing it here and there, but not every single stroke of the brush. We are going all the way down. And we're going to be careful not to cover the Rappigs as best as we can, because those are a nice pale pink, and that green will be hard to cover with a pale pink. I am using the corner of the brush to kind of get those sharper lines. Just to kind of clean it up a bit. There we go. So this is going to take a while with the green grass. I apologize. I know it's not the most entertaining thing to watch. And I probably should... No, I'm not going to record it. Probably should have recorded this from the beginning, but I'm not going to now. It seems silly to record a painting halfway through. At least to me, it seems silly. And hello, cat. I feel you on my hip wanting to come up and have me give you attention, but I am currently working, child. I might have to mix more of this green because I am using quite a bit of it. I knew I'd use quite a bit of it, but I'm using more than I anticipated. So I may have to get and mix more of this. One time I can say I did not make enough color. Okay, maybe not one time. I've had a couple times like this where I did a bigger area and I had to mix more color of my special mixture. I just hope I can remember the ratios well enough. I kind of just eyeballed it. It's the downside to mixing your own colors is if you need more, you gotta remember how you eyeballed it. And yes, I could write down like 1 to 2 to 1, but then I'd have to get measuring cups out so I could make sure it's 1 to 2 to 1. Otherwise, it'll be the same as eyeballing it a second time, and I'll still get a incorrect color. Part of why I like having paints in every color. That way I don't have to worry about... I don't mind mixing colors. It's worrying about having to remix the same color that bothers me. Because if I mess up even a little bit, I have to remake that color. Or if I'm off by a little bit, I have to remake that color and then hope and pray it's similar enough that you don't notice the difference in the color. I feel like I should get out my round brush, my tiny round brush for this area. Just because of the fact I have so much detail here that needs to go on that I'm worried I'm going to overdo it and not get and lose my details. The browns are definitely getting covered up in some areas, but some of those areas is okay. That was on purpose. Some of them are not. I feel like I definitely didn't make enough for that front area, so I'm going to focus on painting this mid-range with this green, so that way I can make a slightly lighter green for that front area. Technically, as things get closer to you, they get darker, but for the base of this front area, it does have a very light coloration to it. Well, I mean, it is kind of darker, actually. Maybe I will do a darker base, like the Kelly green. Maybe mix a little black into the Kelly green because it is really dark in front. What I'm seeing for the lightness is the grass. What is going on? Why is my phone freaking out? Words. I lost my words. Anyway, it's a bit darker. The only light I see in this front area is actually the strands of grass, not so much the actual background color of it. So I think I will do a dark green up there. But I hopefully have enough for this middle area. It seems to be okay. I did use a decent chunk of it, but not a lot. Okay, now we're gonna go. I'm gonna not worry about this center area yet. I'm gonna just kind of go off this way until I can know if I can bring it down further. Because I want each area in like the thirds perspective to have the same coloration of green. And I did see one of the messages I just got with my phone going off was my hairstylist. So might take a second with this green here in a second and see what she said. I'm going to be getting my hair done. I am thinking a pink and blue this time, which I think will be a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun. It'll be like cotton candy hair type idea. Again, I'm just being very careful not to paint over these Rappigs because I won't remember where they were if I paint over them. And then I'm going to be guesstimating with my paint, and then it's just not going to be as spaced out as I did with my sketching. Acrylic paint tends to cover quite a bit, so that's part of the problem here. Okay, this is looking good. Getting these nice tight areas, even though I'm not doing a smaller brush, I'm just doing smaller strokes to get into these areas. Between the fencing, I may actually have to change. Like, I don't know if I can make that type of skill appear. And on the grass in the very front, that's really dark, also appears to be the same dark as the trees in the back. So I may make more than that green and flip my canvas over to include those trees in the back with that nice dark green that I make. They're not exact, so I can get away with just focusing the front and then maybe mixing more for the back. And it's not the exact same shade. Oh my lord. Drop my paintbrush. Oh, thank God it just splattered. It just jumped on areas that have that green. Oopsie. And now paint's falling over. It's telling me more white. Getting into that small detail spot here. Part of why I want the bigger brush still is because it covers more of the ground faster. Okay. So we're going to try this with this green. I may not be able to do it. We'll see. I did okay. Yeah, I'm doing okay with this brush, so I'll just stick with this brush. Get it down low enough. Cover all that white. There's a little dot right here. Green. The other side is still brown. So I'm going to take this up. Being as cautious as I can here. Remember, slow, confident strokes are your best friend. Okay, and do. We're slowly getting there. I've used about half the paint, so I don't think I'm going to have enough paint to do the entire front, which again is fine because it needs a darker green than what I made. Who knows? Maybe I can use this green and just darken it and end up with more of it. We'll see. Because I like the sap vibrancy that I'm getting here. It's a dull sap, but you get the vibrancy of a nice kind of bright green in a few areas. I am going to pause for a second and check that hair appointment stuff. Okay. She sent 4 text messages at once. Oh, app login issue. Hey, I gotta follow up on that. I doubt I want to read it right now, so I'm not going to read it right now. I have an app on my phone for local grocery store that just won't let me sign in on the Samsung that I have, but the Motos I got for streaming can sign in fine. So figure that out. Oh. I don't know who that would be. Watch it be the plumber person. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't expecting anyone. Suppose I could look through the app to see who it was, but that would need effort. That would need a lot of effort. We're gonna take this and we're just gonna kind of round it here. Just to make this grass where it's coming forward a little bit more, feel a little bit more accurate. Now there is some grass in the pathway as well. So the green that you see on the pathway right here is not a big deal. I can hide it with the grass that I have to put in there. And keep in mind with the wood, it's not fully finished yet. When it's done, I'm going to take a colored pencil, like a dark brown, and I'm going to add some wood detailing. That wonderful idea came from my follower, DM Matt, and friend. Yeah, so it was a fantastic idea, and I will be doing it. I was just looking at the wood and thinking it looked a little plain myself. Okay. And this one actually has a little bit of light down here. So I might actually paint a little bit more of this bright green than I anticipated. Well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, the front door doorbell is a little early for the kids. So who could that have been? It's gonna bug me now. Sheriff, are you back? Oh, I just heard you close the door. Oh, Sheriff came up. Or came here. I may have to mute. I'm gonna mute for a second, guys. Alrighty, I am back. Sorry about that. So it looks like it was just a local issue in the area, and people were just checking in and, you know, yada, yada, yada. All that fun stuff. So not a big deal on that doorbell. And we are still painting all the green. Just all of the green. So much green. We are slowly getting there to being done with this green. There is a few areas I do need to follow up on and kind of bring down, but I'm hoping to not have to remix the color to do that, and it looks like I might be able to have enough here to not have to remix it. I'm getting close to done, and there's a decent chunk still there. Okay, so now there's some grass in here, some right here, some right here. And where else is there grass? Some great. Okay. I didn't do this fully correctly. We'll put some grass here. And we will darken it with some later. Because I want to get the base colors in, and then I will add the darkness later. And there's some right up here. There's like two little bushels right next to each other, and then like a strokey one. And I think that looks good. So now this comes from right about here down and follows kind of like the sunlight. So I'm hoping I have enough to follow this sunlight over here, up around the pig, and then kind of comes up and disappears to here. So let's get all of that nice and green. I hope I can make this paint stretch to be able to do that. There's not a lot of paint left, so I don't know if I will be able to make it stretch. I'm going to do the best I can. All we can ever hope for. some of it's starting to dry out, so it's getting real hard to get it just really fully paint. Thinner sections where it was spread out and dipped in have dried up completely, so I just have a little tiny notch amount left, which means I am going to have to mix, unfortunately. Unless I can magically make this last a lot longer. I don't think I can. Try and take little bits at a time. I'm getting white dots because the paint doesn't want, it's like dry brushing instead of painting. So I'm getting some white dots in my paint here. I'm definitely gonna have to mix because I've already used up over half of that, what was left, just doing that little area. I'm gonna try and lean more of behind the fence post here and hope that I can get that to go all the way across the fence post at least. The front bit can be a little bit lighter than I made the other ones. This is mostly just based on where the sun is shining. That's what determines whether the grass is light or dark. And in this particular photo, it looks like the sun is setting, so only half the grass is shadowed. Now we're going back into these tiny detail areas. We got to cover up some of that brown because it's a little too high up. Slowly getting there. I think that is Allie letting me know that the invites for my child's party in a couple weeks are done. Or it could be me, one of the two. Or real or something. You know, gotta be in that real relationship. So in this lighter grass area, there's going to be a lot of kind of yellow green for the grass to help the grass be more like sunlight driven, and in the darker areas, it's going to be more of that vibrant green with a little bit of sap in it. Pretty close to this color here that I'm currently using. Okay, now I can start painting some of this down. I don't know how far down I can make it. We're going to do our best to get as far down as we can. Because it is already at pan. I'm barely picking any up at a time. As you can see, it's a lot more dry brushy right now. That's because of how little paint I'm able to pick up. But, I mean, getting pretty close, getting pretty far. Got that Rappig in there. Oh, I think I'm out of paint. I almost made it, guys. I was so close. Can I get anything left on this? Anything at all? Nope, it is all dry at this point. Okay. So I do have to mix more, unfortunately. So I need that sage green. A little bit more sage green. A little bit more. That mint green. Just a few, just to get it a little more vibrant. And then that Kelly green for darkness. Which again, that's making a lot, but it's fine. Yeah, it is slightly lighter than the last time I did it. But it's pretty dang close, actually. some of that dark green off so I don't get straight dark green. And then we're just going to go in here and, yeah, it's a little bit more vibrant than the last one, but it's close enough. I just need little bits here and there. And I can actually take this green and make it into the dark green shadow of the everywhere else it's at. Probably should use a bigger brush than I'm using currently for this. I just like having smaller brushes for more control. And that's all this really is. It's just a smaller brush for more control. Paint this straight across. Get that nice edge on the dirt, which does have a little bit of grass sticking up from, but not a lot. Now I could go in with that light green and actually turn this green a little bit more yellow, or I can darken it and then I can do the rest of the base. I think I'm going to stick with doing the base right now because of the fact that I want to wait for it to fully dry before I do the strokes of grass. Trying to clean this up. It looks like the green that I have here is more of that dark green that I got with the simple line across, so I'm able to blend that out a little bit so it's not as obvious. So I'm just doing another kind of like quick top coat of all the green here to clean up that hidden line that I don't want showing where I sectioned off the grass. Carefully and slowly work our way through. We can be a little bit more rushed with this because it does have some light areas in it, so I don't have to like perfectly cover everything. But I do need to work fairly efficiently. Okay. So that way I can get a nice even coating and not have as many streaks in this. Oh, my nose itches. Clean that up. We're just slowly going through all of this, kind of painting it and having fun. It looks like this stream is not as popular as I thought it would be, so maybe I'll drop Wednesdays and just keep Monday and Fridays for streaming, and that will help me, because I was really struggling to hop on stream today, guys. I was just so tired. And if I keep it to Mondays and Fridays, then I should have more energy to actually work on paintings. I would hope. I would think. I don't know for certain if I'll have more energy, I should say. But I tend to have the most energy on Monday and Friday to do this kind of stuff. Gotta be careful of the green up here. Just kind of coating it so that way I can get rid of those brush strokes. Again. Spreading the paint around and covering up the sectional lines. Hiding my sectioning. Which seems to be using up most of this paint, which is good. So I can mix a dark green paint from scratch. I think all I need would be the mint green, the mint Kelly, and some black for the dark green that I'm seeing. Because it is a vibrant green, but it's a very dark vibrant green. So the Kelly in that mixture will help kind of neutralize it, and the mint green will make it vibrant, and then the black will darken it. So that's what I'm thinking of doing for this dark green in the very front. And hello, Geigen, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate it. Thank you for the painting looking really well. I am working very hard on it, trying to make it as realistic to the game as possible. This is actually a Tales of game that I'm basing this off of. And I'm gonna admit I've did a lot of mistakes on the mountain already, so it's already not looking great. And then I did the waterfalls, and then those didn't do the technique that I wanted. And it's just it's existing. It's existing. That's what we can say. It's existing. It's a thing. It exists. And I gotta remember that I do have to convert one of my paintings into a framed form by Monday, so that way I can take it with me to my art league and put it up for hopefully sale. And hopefully someone will buy it. That would be nice. I don't think any of the art pieces that my art league has put up have sold, because every time I see them, there is always they're always the same paintings. Like the ones that went up are the same ones going down. So unfortunately, I don't think we can sell anything, but we'll see. We're almost done coating that extra green on all of the places in the grass that were kind of streaky, which is looking good. It looks a lot better with less streaks in it. Doesn't mean that this green doesn't still have streaks in it, but I've covered up a lot of the worst ones where they looked very yellow. I didn't cover down here, did I? That looks like I had not. We're just kind of going in and fixing that green up to look more realistic. Again, this is just the base coat of the green. We will be going in with lighter and darker greens all over to make little blurps, I guess, of grass is what I would call it. Little spoinks. I want to get better at painting, just don't really have the resources or time. Yes, resources on painting can be a lot of money. It is very expensive. As for time, even if you did 10 minutes a day, that would slowly over time equate to a beautiful painting. So you have time. It can be hard to find it, but you do have time. As for resources, yeah, I agree. That's where it gets expensive. That's where most people get held up. But keep in mind, there's always like cheap acrylic paints on Amazon. Canvases you can get pretty cheap. I've gotten like 5 of them for like $12 from Michael's. So you can make it cheaper. It's just it can be hard to start and hard to justify spending $12 on 5 canvases. Even if it's a good deal, it can be hard to justify it, and I recognize that. Follow age. Oh goodness, 3 years. Holy cow. Have I really been streaming that long? Goodness me, it doesn't feel that long. Okay. That's looking pretty stinking good. I don't have enough green really to mix the darker green with. I have enough that I'm going to use it, but it's not going to make much of a difference. That sap green is not going to affect the dark green at all. We're just kind of cleaning up some of these lines here, because it has some dots. I can see the weight of the canvas through my painting. Hate it. And the grass I'm going to leave semi-transparent on the pathway. Again, I'll be adding a dark green to that, just to help it stand out a little bit, but I'm not going to make it too evident because the grass isn't really that vital on the pathway. I've been doing online schooling for a certificate in software development. Oh, that's cool. How close are you to get the certification? Okay, set that down for a second. Clean off my brush. I am going to move to this bigger angle brush for this side because my hand is cramping already from all that tiny spaces with the tiny brush. Oops. Okay, so we need a lot of Kelly green. I didn't pull out any black out, so I'm going to have to pull some black out. And then that mint green for vibrancy. Add a little bit more than last time because we are going darker. Last full class right now, then a final project after. Ooh, that sounds like you're really close then. Congratulations. Okay, and then a drop, and I mean a drop of black. And we will slowly darken it. Because black goes really fast with darkness. We are slowly mixing that together. Getting a nice vibrant green here, but still looking, oh, my phone closed the thing. So now I can't see the picture and like compare darkness. I don't think that's dark enough. It was pretty freaking black. And I just put paint on my canvas. Can I please let me back in? Thank you. All right, yeah, that's not quite dark enough. So we need to add two drops of black. 1, 2. Let's see how... Struggling with my paintbrushes. Get that green off my table. I don't want that on my table. Ah! Go in the brush holder. Okay, so now we're going to try mixing in 2 drops of black to the green. And see if that darkens it enough. It looks like the initial is dark enough, but as I mix in this light green, because we do need a lot of it, it may lighten up just a touch. Is that dark enough? No, that is not dark enough. So we're going to add 1 more drop of black, and I think we'll be at it. So it's about 4 drops of black for all the other paint that I added. And then 1 drop. Oh, well, I added 2. Whatever. We're going to go in there and just mixy, mixy, mix. And that is coming out to be much more accurate. Yeah, that's the dark green we needed. So it's a very stark contrast to the light green that we have in the sunlight. It is a much more deep hue of green. And it's not super vibrant, but it's okay. It'll be fine. I should use a small brush for this, but we're gonna angle brush it. Got it a little bit. Then we're just going to pull that paint over. Just kind of spread it over the area. I don't want it to be too thick around the piggy. Don't need like a outline on the piggy here. Now considering the area and how much I made, I probably can get 1 coat of this on fine, but I'll probably have to remix to make a second coat. Because as you guys know, acrylic tends to be really streaky the first time you put it down, which is not what I want and not ideal for what I'm going for. However, we are covering pretty nicely here. A lot of dry brushing though. Can't hold enough paint to not dry brush. That piggy butt a little more defined here. I am painting over the pig. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? As long as I can see where the pig was, I can paint over it with my pale pink. It's fine. Clean up those edges, then go in with this darker all the way down. And keep in mind up there in the trees where it's dark is the same dark green. So I'm hoping to be able to have enough here to not just paint down below on this grass, but also get with the trees up above. That's why I made so much of it. But watch me still not have enough. These big areas, whenever I go to cover them, I never seem to estimate correctly how much I need. But, you know, give me a small area, I'll make way more than enough. Like this gray blue that I made. I have a ton of it in my palette still, and I just need it for a tiny little area. A lot of that has to do with mixing too much of one color. That's why I tend to end up with a lot of it. I'll put too much of one color on, and then I gotta go back and forth, and then I end up with a full pan of color before I know it. And yes, I definitely need another coat of this dark green, as it is very streaky for this first coat. And a lot of that has to do with me spreading it around. Trying to cover more area, less paint. I'm gonna try and make my brush strokes all go the same way here. So if you guys had to pick a piece of my art that you would say is your favorite, which one of my art pieces would you say has been your favorite so far? I know I should have a website with my portfolio so you guys can look to see the proper answer for that question. But based off your memory, we'll just go based off your memory. I know Sheriff's is my shark date. He obsessed with it and he won't let me sell it now. Even though I look at it, I'm like, I could do some of those techniques so much better already. It's only been a few months since I painted that. Maybe 4 or 5? Maybe it's been half a year. Getting all kinds of coverage on this paint, just covering up this nice dark area that happens. Trying to spread the paint around as much as I can. Like I said, trying to get that optimal coverage with as minimal amount of paint as possible. I do need to faux frame a couple of my pieces that have not been faux framed yet, which I will probably do that off stream one of these days. And I will also be starting paint making back up tomorrow, mostly because I need to test to see if I can actually make paint up in my studio now, because we got a different faucet and it's bigger than what I had as an option, because my other faucet, the one in my studio, may or may not be unable to drain at all. So yeah. That I don't know why I went so silent there. I just went off on a tangent in my mind thinking about what it needed to be and what needs to be done about the sink in my studio, and thinking about how long before I should contact the plumber again, because we've been trying to contact them for a month and we just haven't been getting anywhere. It's getting frustrating. I don't know how long I should wait before I'm like, hey, I contacted you last week. You said a week later, and it's been a week and I still haven't heard anything. Yeah, I do not have enough for a second coat, so I will have to mix more here. I might have enough to do the base of the trees, and that way I can have the 2 coats be similar. I don't think I'm actually going to have enough looking at this. I have just a tiny amount left, but the trees are kind of small, so we'll see. A little chunky right here. Excuse me. I don't want chunks in my paint. Thank you. Good day, sir. Okay, yeah, that's definitely very streaky, so we'll have to go back with the second coat. I'm going to flip over and do the trees real quick that I need for the dark areas. So it is, oh, flip. So it is this tree, this tree, this tree, and this tree, it looks like. Maybe a little bit down here. And then I do have a little overhang into this from the trees, so let's start covering what we can. We're just slowly getting this green on here, kind of working our way through. I have a chunk again. Don't like chunks. I might even make some of these trees a little bit darker. So I might purposely make a darker color here. We'll see. We'll see how well it goes. How much I can cover. And yes, just like the grass, it will need a second coat either way, because it is kind of oofy. We're just gonna kind of cover that in here. Then we're gonna go after this tree, which also has a little bit right there. Behind the branch. I'm just going to slowly cover up all these dark trees. Paint some of this over. Just again, trying to get the most out of this paint as possible. We're going to add some tree branches here. Okay, that gives the tree a little bit more of a fluffy feel. Then over here, it looks like there's like quite a few areas to cover. And these ones we will not be able to add that fluffy feel. I'll have to do it with the ones in front of them. They are all behind different things, from the trunk to other tree leaves. So the fluffy feel will have to come from the lighter colors on this side, not the dark ones. I might be able to get away with doing a second coat on the trees up here with this particular green and darken the ones up front. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll just kind of taking it where the paint takes us. Well, how much of the paint, I should say. Which it looks like I am at my wit's end, and I will not be able to do a second coat even if I wanted to. I have a little bit. Hang on. Let me put all this in one corner. Yeah, okay. I might have enough to do a second coat over here. We're gonna try. We're gonna try our best. Getting a little bit of that lush green here, which is causing very interesting combination of light and dark in this tree. Okay, we've got that kind of going here. There we go. So we did get the second layer on the one tree up above, so let's see if we can get a second layer on this side. I don't know how well this will work. There's not a lot of paint left. Yes, I'm ignoring the tiny specks in the branches. Okay, and then let's try a little bit up here. Just get as much as we can. I need to cover up this area. There we go. Okay, that looks a little better. Yeah, that looks good. So the dark parts of the trees are good. The in between the trunks is not necessarily dark. It's kind of like a medium green, so that we will probably do straight Kelly green. And then It doesn't have any of this light green, so I got to keep it darker than this light green. And this I might use for my green yellow. It's called Mint. It's a ceramic glaze, or I might use Limeade. I might use Limeade. We'll see. Just to get that vibrant color. But the lightest it gets is right about here, and then in that area in there. So I got to be careful not to have too light a color. Okay, so now I got to mix up a super dark green again. Flip this over so that way we can do our second coat. Oops. Second coat on the grass down here. So once again, we are going in with that Kelly green. A nice helping of it. Some mint green for the vibrancy. I'm going to add a little bit more mint green this time because the vibrancy was a little lackluster last time. And it was 5 dots of black. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this might mix up darker than it was last time. It might mix up lighter. We're just gonna have to see. Gotta play with it a little bit. Get that green to go in the middle instead of mixing on the outside. End up with a... Actually, that's pretty close. That's pretty freaking close. I might be able to do the bush on the waterfall this time as well. Because the bush on the waterfall is also fairly dark green. The little ledge next to the trees is slightly more vibrant than this color. So that one we won't be able to do. Yeah, I almost got the exact. It's just slightly more vibrant with the green, which is what I wanted. Right now we're just covering up a second layer to make that streakiness of the green go away. Which you don't have to use as much paint for doing. You don't have to get every little edge and nick and cranny. You just need to get the main areas. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit of chunky on my painting apparently. I don't know which paint's causing the chunks, but I am not happy about it. Can't do much about it, but I'm not happy about it. And then I might lighten this one up for that medium green in the middle of those trees. And then I have to go with Kelly green, I think, for the tree tops. See, this is giving a much more solid base. It's not looking so kind of run down and streaky like it doesn't belong. Might be able to get a more solid base, more solid foundation, and then I can use the gray for the shadows, which are basically just gray. The shadows are just essentially gray, so I don't need to mix any colors with that. I like that the second layer gives this a lot more of a smooth foundation on here. I am dripping everywhere. That is so good. I love it. I love when I drip. Can you hear the sarcasm yet? Kind of push all this down into the corner. That way I can get more paint out of it, because if it dries, I get less paint. So if I just try and keep it bundled up, I'll get more use out of it. Come on. Why is that like a really light green right there? There we go. Giant white spot right in the middle of my paint. That's always great. So we're just basing a lot of stuff today. We're getting a lot of just basic colors down. Now this is the dark green that I was looking for doing the grass on the pathway. So I may, if I have enough, go in and do the pathway grass, which it's looking like I should have enough to do that. I have a decent chunk still here. I'm going to do the grass before I do the bush up by the waterfall. Okay, there we go. That looks like a nice solid dark. So I'm going to change over to my small, I'm going to go in with my round small brush. Small round brush is what I'm looking for. It is a 2 round, and we're just going to dip. We're just going to add some dark lines to these little grass blobs. And this, with the dry brushing technique, isn't necessarily what we're looking for. But it gives it a little bit more of a realistic grass feel. Trying to keep it where it has a little bit of darkness in the beginning. Now, do I see... There are some areas in the grass here that do go a little bit darker here. It's mostly in the edging, so I think I'm going to go in and paint some of those as well. So we're just going to kind of go up on this edge here. Not great at keeping, because I'm having to lift my arm up. Not great at keeping it very in the way. Come on, stop. Stop dry brushing this. I don't want dry brush grass up here. Stupid brush making me dip so much. There's a little bit of grass right here. Going into a shadow. That felt weird in the back, having my tens unit stop. It's all the way up to about this piggy. It's a little bit wider too. There, okay. There's a little bit on this side. I guess you could consider it the shadow from the arch. So, get this shadow up. Going. Well, a lot of this should probably be done after I paint the pig. Then I can work on getting the grass overlaid on the pig, but I am being stubborn and doing it now. Why? I don't know. It's a terrible idea. It's an absolutely terrible idea. I need to turn my tens unit back on because my back is killing me. Okay. Then we have some dark grass over here. Just going straight in. Okay, little line of dark along this. And it's not really so much a grass section, it's just shadow of grass. So I'm not going to be pulling up on this one. Same with right here. There's a little bit of grass coming up, but not a lot on this one. So we're just going to do little tiny baby grass strokes. And there is a shadow from this, which does not look like grass. It's just a shadow. Technically, I could use the gray for this because it is gray shadowing, but this is what we're going to use. kind of fill this in. Some grass. And that should be good there. Is there anywhere else that has dark grass? Yes, there's over by this pig. Well, I guess that's... Hey, go back. Excuse me. I want that one. Some dark grass over here by the pig. Stop! You freaking thing! Stop! It's trying to open other shit. I want my reference photo. I don't want to see the pigs on their own. All zoomed up. There's some nice grass. I don't see, other than around the feet, I guess, right about here. There's a little bit of shadowing. And no, I can't use this shadowing on the dark green area. I do have to make a darker green for that, for the Rappig in the dark green area. Which I can do if I have enough left over. Then I'll probably do the grass strokes if I have that darker green. Okay. So now on that side, yep, I need that really dark green. So we're going to flip it over. I need it on this bush and this little section here. Neither of which are very close, so you don't see the leaves and lighter greens nearly as well. They do have some light greens, but it's not super like yellow and vibrant. So I'm just kind of outlining this bush. Trying to get that nice, pretty coloration. And I'm getting all the messages. Good Lord. Let's work this out. I really shouldn't be doing this with this tiny of a brush. This kind of defeats the purpose. This would be better to do the leaves with on this than to fill it in, because it's just so small. So I think I'm going to swap over to my medium small brush, which I'm going to swap over to the filbert instead of the flat. And we're going to use that one to kind of brush this in. I want this to be a little bit more, less paint strokey and more filled. There we go. Getting that dark up here. Oh, that has a lot of paint right there. Oh no, that just had chunkies, not paint. Okay, I don't like chunkies. Go away, chunky. Paint's so old, it's getting chunky. Okay, now that I've got these two done, I see that little chunky. No chunks. No chunks. Hey, come here, chunk. Get off. So now that I've got these two painted, I am going to go in and add a little bit more black to this dark color. So that way I can do this space in between the trees. I think maybe 2 drops should do it. I'm going to do 1 because there is a very small amount left. So I don't want to overdo it. I want it to be black, black. There, that's a much darker color. That is nice. And I can also use that for the shadow on the Rappig. So we're just going to kind of paint this dark green right here. It does look almost black, but I assure you in real life it has a touch of green to it. It's a very deep dark green. I think I'm going to add a little bit over here to kind of spread out these trees a little bit. Because I do need to add a little bit of lightness and a little bit of darkness to each of these trees, just to give them some more life. We're getting a lot of this covered, which is really, really nice. Now there isn't a lot of highlights in these back trees, so I'm not going to be putting a very vibrant green. I think I might leave it with just those two, because of the fact that they aren't the main focus. So I'm going to add some here. These trees are supposed to be very dark and very not the focal point. They're meant to be in existence, but not a focal point that you really notice right away. I'm kind of also blending these leaves a little bit to be more sporadic and less in your face because of the fact they're farther away. So the leaves won't have a lot of individualness to them. That's why I'm kind of blending it a little bit here. Also gives it a little bit more of a difference in color. Okay, there we go. Now I can use that dark green for the shadow. Actually, no, I might put a little bit on this here. Kind of darken it on this side a little bit because this is meant to be a bush. Having that darkness will help kind of create a more depth feel. Do I have green up here? Kinda. I'm just gonna blend it in here. This area, I don't know what I was thinking with it. It just kind of exists. I don't see it on my reference photo, but now it's gonna be here. So it exists, but I don't know what it's for. But this filbert is causing a nice grass effect when I drag up. There we go. So I might actually go in with the filbert and do some grass in some other places that I've done. Not so much in the up here in the front, but maybe like in the back a little bit because there is supposed to be some dark back there. Okay, now let's get that Rappig shadow. So it has a little bit of a shadow here next to its face. And it has some between its legs. Just a touch behind this leg. Everything else looks to be unshadowed. So now I'm just gonna kind of drag some of this up here for a nice grassy look. Which is not working because my filbert does good grass from far away, not so much up close. Oops. Okay. We can fix that. Go back in with the tiny round brush. Just kind of bring the lines back in. Bring them over here. And then down here is some. We have some strokes along here. Really tall strokes. Just on the very front here. This doesn't hold enough paint to get the stroke all the way to the top. Hello, Clockwork Bard. How are you today? Welcome back to the Tiger Den. Thank you so much for the... Oh, no, that was a bully with love. Okay. Hello. Thank you for the bully, I guess. I thought that might have been a hydrate because of how much it was going off. So now we're just kind of adding the grass in the very front. This is going to be the darkest part of the grass, so this is the grass that's behind everything. Kind of blending in with the background. I will be adding flowers in this area, so it's going to have a lot of stark contrast in here, which will help bring this grass to life. And yes, I'm starting on the right side because that is the darkest area. I don't know how much dark green I have left to go all the way across. Did someone say... Oh, of course you did. Of course you did, Sheriff. Thank you for the hydrate, I guess. I'll hydrate with water in a second. I am absolutely dry brushing at this point because I cannot pick up enough paint to do the long stems. There, hydrated with water. I guess I can do that. So I'm just trying to get these grass lines as high as I can. I don't have the best brush for this right now. We are running out of really dark green, so I'm going to do a couple over here, where it's just kind of dry brushy going on. Okay, that is the best I can do. So I'm completely out of that green paint. I'd have to mix more. I don't want to mix more right now, because I'm not going to worry about the grass too much. Oh goodness, okay. Next, I should probably go in with my Kelly Green for the lighter grass in the dark area and in the bush, and for the main trees up there. I can also use the Kelly Green as a, as it's a cohesive color between the light area and the dark area, but with the light area, that is the cohesive color, or that is the dark color, where in the dark area, it's the light color. So just kind of seeing how, even though it's in different areas and looks like different things, it can actually make differences. So I'm going to go with the large 5 round brush, and we're going to see how well those grass sticks. Anyway, playing. Oh, okay, hang on. How's the bard? Not much. Working, got a raise. Have 5 days PTO. I'm wondering how to spend them. Ah, yes. Raises are awesome. I love raises. So we're going with the Kelly Green, which is probably a little lighter than we would like, but I think it'll be just fine. And again, we're not trying to go with grass everywhere. We're trying to go with suggestions of grass. So with this being straight Kelly Green, I'm just going to go in there. And with these farther areas, I am going to use this smaller brush. Just kind of paint a little bit of green into there. Which this is looking a little too light, so I might have wanted to go somewhere else with it. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. So we're just gonna... It does look too great. It looks too light, but it's actually giving a difference, so I don't know. It'll be fine. Well, it'll be fine. Now we're just kind of painting some areas around to suggest grass here. We're just kind of going across and doing the thing for 80 minutes. This grass takes forever to paint. And it just had to be a game where you can see each individual grass blade. Of course you did. Couldn't just had a solid color. A little bit here. I'm mostly going where I see the shadows in the grass and putting grass there to give that effect, which will help later. Give some grass suggestion up here by the rocks. hate using this tiny round brush. It just doesn't hold enough paint for what I would like to do with it. But that's most tiny brushes. Like I couldn't even get a rigger brush to hold that much paint. So come down here, add some grass by the poles. There. Got a little grass in between. Just give it a little bit more of a full-on grass feel. There we go. There's some shadowing over here that I can do a little bit of grass in. Add some light grass over here on top of the shadowed grass. Just give it some, again, some depth. Yes, I have to dip a lot in this because this brush just does not hold anything. You set your mates to farm fish. Oh my goodness, okay. I've been okay. I've been doing a lot of art lately and a lot of craft shows. I'm trying to learn to sell my art. I've had a lot of stress, but it's fine. I'm trying to make an income. Financials have not been great in a long time. And I'm trying to get control again. We're gonna grass it up over here. Some grass in front of this. Oops. Come on. There we go. Kind of gives it a little bit more of a grassy feel. Yeah, that's looking good. Those don't have too much grass in them, so I'm not going to do too much there. Add a little bit of grass back here. Right now, I am ignoring the reference photo of where the grass is, and I'm just kind of putting grass where I think it should go. Yeah, that's looking good. Probably have some grass coming up on this. We'll have both dark and light grass coming up on the pathway. And I'm noticing as it's drying, the Kelly green is getting darker, which is definitely nice. Because it's a little too light, for my opinion, in the wet form. I'm glad I stuck with just the Kelly green, because, yeah, up there it's getting a little dark. Okay, there's that. I need to do some lightness in the bush up here, so we're just going to kind of blot that around. Give it a little bit of a feel of a bush. Just kind of moving it around, giving it some light. And then we're going to come up to this grass up here. We're just going to kind of flick some of this up. Around there, just to give it some lightness in here. Oh, sorry to hear that. Finance problems can be stressful. Let's steer Gavo to someplace happier. Have you ever thought about doing Fiverr? Yeah, the problem is I do traditional media, not digital media. So if I go to Fiverr, people want a lot of the digital media, or they want me to ship it out, and I got to figure out how to ship it out. I don't have the finances to buy big boxes right now. So getting big boxes can be challenging, and shipping a 16 by 20 painting can be very expensive. I think it was like 50, 70 bucks somewhere in there last time I checked. So I don't want to, if I did Fiverr, no one's going to pay for it because I would be doing a physical piece. And while yes, the 9 by 11s and 8 by 10s will be a much more reasonable price, the 16 by 20s would be almost like 200, 300 bucks. I don't think anyone's going to pay that much for one of my paintings. I've been trying to sell them for that much, and I have not been succeeding. So everyone doubted that. You say that, but how long has my paintings been at the art gallery and not sold? How did I do at that last craft show? Even with someone interested in a piece saying it called to them, and they didn't buy it, even though I drastically reduced the price? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Shut your face. Okay, so that's giving more of a tree feel. Just kind of getting those leaves out a little bit onto the tree a little bit more. I'm not doing fiber. I'm not going to waste my time with people asking me to commission on stuff they don't want to commission because of the cost, or, you know, cheating me out of money. You didn't show up at the time expected. Post a picture of it on their social media later. Already got the review done and their refund, even though they had it. It's not the most safe thing. I just got hit again. Y'all are mean. We're gonna do some dark grass here in front of this pole. How? Why am I getting bullied now? Sheriff, come on. Why am I getting bullied? You know it's true. You know people scan artists all the time. You're both mean. Yes, you attack me with stuff, you are mean. I don't care if it's with love. It's mean. Do a little bit more there. Okay. I'm liking how that grass looks so far. I feel like I need to put some up here. Kind of in this area, just to give it a little bit more of a grass feel. I'm got a little too much of a gap here. Okay. That looks nice and grassy. I have a little bit of grass everywhere. Just kind of keeping with that pattern. Need to do some grass in the big area, which probably means I'm going to need my bigger brush. Okay, we're going to clean that brush. And go to the bigger round brush. I'm going to start painting some of these lighter green stalks here. The next time after this dries, because we're almost to we've got like 30 minutes till the end of stream, I will do the flowers and then go back in with this Kelly green and kind of open up a little bit more on the leaf side in front of the flowers and not just behind the flowers. I don't like that this brush is not carrying anything. Put a little bit of water in this. Maybe that'll help it. There it goes. That's better. I just need some water. Put some more water in that. Because these grass in the front is very, very tall. I wasn't getting that height like I wanted. This coloration going. Get this grass feeling more grassy. Need a little bit more water. Kind of have some fun shapes with it. Not super straight grass, but kind of grass all over. that gives it a little bit more feeling in the grass in the front. So now let's add some back here. Need to remember to flick forward and not back. Ow! Why are you hydrating me again? I don't want to hydrate. There, I hydrated. Grass over here. Just trying to get that seamless blend between the two areas where the dark and the light kind of meet and commingle. And the closer you are, the taller the grass. So just trying to get that feeling in here. And yes, this grass is absolutely everywhere. I'm trying not to do too much in the dark area, just that way I don't overcrowd this painting. If I do a lot, then I should just do all of it. Otherwise, if I'm doing just a little bit, I shouldn't overdo it everywhere, if that makes sense. There we go. Okay. Looks like I can use a little bit more on this front grass here. A few of them are drying a little more dark than I would like, but that's okay because I can still go in with a third color for the lighter portions. Which, like I said earlier, this Kelly green is drying darker than I anticipated. But again, that's okay because it just gives me a little bit more wiggle room for the shades that I get on here. Apparently the Kelly green is the one with the chunks because I just pulled a chunk out of it. There, okay. That doesn't look that bad. I think I might do a little bit of Kelly green up here. Just give a little bit of coloration to these grass pathways. Oh, and I forgot I have to do the tree trunks. I just used all that Kelly green. Thinking that was all I needed it for. Because I can. No, you cannot. I refuse. More Kelly green, because I totally forgot about an area. I kind of blend out this green a little bit up here. Let's kind of give it a little bit more options. Make it a little bit more versatile. Feel a little bit more like an actual greenery spot. Okay, that feels better. And now I just gotta flip this, do the top green branches, and then I think we'll be done there to let this dry for a bit. So that way next time I can do the flowers, both the white and the yellow. The flowers, the pigs, and the lamp are all I think I have left. So I should be able to work on the flowers, and then I can do more of the grass, because it's just base Kelly green, and then take a little bit of probably this limeade and kind of do highlighting grass everywhere. In the trees, it has a little bit of highlight. Not much. It's a very light highlight, so I might take the mint green and do that for the highlight up here, and then do the limeade for the highlights in the grass. Because I do want to keep in mind that that grass is in the sunlight where these trees are not. So they're going to have a much brighter highlight than these trees would. Okay, so now I got that leafy look to it. We can paint it. Some more of that green color in here. Yeah, But yes, the Kelly Green is going on wet, a lot lighter. My throat. Oh god, you guys are getting a free hydrate. But yes, the Kelly Green is going on a lot lighter than the way it dries. It dries a lot darker. That's okay. I already hydrated, Sheriff. You gonna make me hydrate again? Really? You already got a free hydrate. There we go. You're paid for hydrate with the free hydrate, I guess. Make me sip twice. Oh, there's a chunk again. I don't want the chunks. Chunks are another freaking chunk. Jesus. Another chunk. What the heck? Kelly Green, stop being so chunky. Another chunk. What the heck? Go away. Kind of splotch it on here. It is a little streaky. That's fine. Just kind of getting rid of the streaks the best I can with what I got. Just kind of blending this out here. I used up all my Kelly Green, so I poured just the right amount for these trees and those last little, I don't remember where it was. Oh, the grass up there. Add a little bit more here, a little bit up here. Okay. Oh, I gotta add some over here. All right, so I think it's good for now. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry for a few days. And we're going to see when we come back how the greens look. If we need to add lighter greens, we're going to do the flowers. And everything should be good to go. So I appreciate you all hanging out with me today and painting with me. It's been a lot of fun. I love you all. And yeah, I will see you guys on Friday. We might be working on the anniversary piece a little bit. I may let it dry for a week instead of 5 days. That's all going to be dependent on how it smells, because I want to make sure that varnish is fully set before I start working on the next part of the piece, the part of the piece that I forgot. Anyway, I appreciate you all. I love you all, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye-bye.